Criminal law is one of the most difficult subjects you will encounter in your first and second semesters of your first year in law school. Sa aming klase noon, maraming hindi umusad ng second semester dahil maraming bumagsak sa Criminal Law 1. In tonight's episode, let me share with you 5 tips for you to pass criminal law. I'll also be sharing with you some pointers that will help shape your understanding of the law and how you can leverage that for instant success in law school. Coming right up! Hi, my name is Lex and welcome to Lex in Motion. In this channel, I'll be helping you build your competence, confidence, and capability in law school. Start today by hitting the subscribe button below. New episodes are posted every Friday. Tip number 1. Criminal law is one of those subjects in law school that strictly adheres to the Pareto Principle. Under this principle, 80% of all the things we have to learn for the course comes from about 20% of the material. Ang bulto ng kailangan mong matutunan sa criminal law 1, kapatid, ay matututunan mo sa justifying, exempting, mitigating at aggravating circumstances. Kung aral ka sa 4 na yan, aral ka na sa inyong midterm exam. Pagdating ng inyong finals, kapatid, asahan mo na kung ano man ang inyong natalakay sa 4 na yan ay madadagdagan lang ng persons criminally liable for felonies, complex crimes, and penalties. When you take up criminal law 2, you will find that our criminal laws are classified according to a very specific hierarchy. Meaning, mas matimbang sa mata ng Estado ang krimen laban sa national security kesa sa personal reputation ng nag-iisang tao. Learn the broad overview of the kinds of crimes and then cherry pick the most important crimes based on where your professors spend most of the time and attention of the class. Tip number 2, understand that criminal law is one of the shortest bar subjects you will ever encounter. Kung tutuusin, kapatid, kailangan mo lang malampasan ng culture shock na dulot ng criminal law 1. After that, you can cruise to the finish line to criminal law 2. While criminal law is one of the shortest bar subjects, it is also one of the subjects where precision is key. If you lose one word when you're memorizing, or if you miss 1 or 2 words while you're answering your exams, asahan mo, kapatid, na mali na ang sagot. Criminal law demands precision above all else. Dito kadalasan nakukulture shock ang mga law students na fresh graduate ng college. Sa mga hardworking working students, yamot naman tayo sa memorization. Dahil matagal-tagal na rin na hindi umaandar sa ganitong level ang ating memorization skills. Criminal law requires a high degree of accuracy, whether you have to say it out loud or write it down or type it up in your exams. This means that for you to pass, you have to memorize with both accuracy and precision. Tip number 3, while criminal law is also one of the shortest subjects in law school, understand that you won't cover everything. Hindi lahat ng professors ay nakakatapos ng criminal law 2. Madalas marami sa ating mga crimes ang straight up na nilalaktawan ng ating mga professors for lack of material time. Criminal law 2 professors will also cherry pick the provisions that they will discuss or take up in recitation. There are certain crimes that every law student is expected to learn. Tipong kung hindi ka makasagot ay wala kang karapatang makatawid ng second year. Most of these include the crimes against national security and public interest, crimes against persons, property, chastity, and a little on honor. However, I must hasten to add, kapatid, that while you will not discuss everything in class, you are nevertheless expected to read everything at least once. Hindi mahirap intindihin ang Revised Penal Code, lalo na ang Book 2. Ito ay naisulat noong 1930s. Simple ang wordings ng batas, kaya kayang-kaya mo siyang ma-self-study. For special penal laws, find the time and the attention to cover the Dangerous Drugs Act, Batas Pambansa bilang 22 or the Bouncing Checks Law, and cyber crimes. These might not be taken up in class, but you will certainly need a high understanding of these 3 when you head into criminal procedure, practice court, and criminal law review. My recommendation, kapatid, is for you to learn them on your own. Tip number 4, questions in criminal law, whether they appear in criminal law 1 or criminal law 2 or criminal law review, are very, very predictable. Law students are asked to identify who is criminally liable, the extent of their participation or criminal liability, and how they are criminally liable. Walang ibang matatanong ang yung professor dito, kapatid, kundi iikot lang sa tatlong yan. I have made an episode on how to hack law school questions, how they are written, and how professors determine the exact answers they will be looking for, and I'll be leaving a link to that in the description down below. Sa iyong mga exam at recitation ay magbubunga ang yung effort na mag-memorize ng codal provisions. Dito mo na mapapakinabangan ang lahat ng iyong sinaulo, kapatid, sa ilalim ng Revised Penal Code. Criminal liability is always premised on the presence of all of the elements of an offense. If there is one element that is missing, then there is no criminal liability, or the criminal liability will fall under an entirely different provision of the law. Bonus na ring maituturing, kapatid, kung alam mo kung ano ang net penalty or the final imposable penalty based on the presence of the circumstances that modify criminal liability. In a previous episode on how to pass constitutional law, I have discussed that there is nothing technical with constitutional law. Sadyang matrabaho lang dahil kahit kakaunti ang codal provisions ay siya namang hinaba, dinami at kinalabo ng ating mga kaso sa constitutional law. In criminal law, I can tell you that you also have to put in the time, energy, and attention for the cases. Dahil maiigsi lang ang mga provisions sa ilalim ng RPC, ang bulto ng ating understanding ng criminal law ay makukuha sa mga kaso. Halimbawa, passion and obfuscation is easy to understand, but when or where or how should it apply? In my reading of cases, I see it when the origin of the case started from a vehicular accident or a traffic incident. I also see it when someone close to the accused is threatened or about to be injured. This brings me to tip number 5. A complete and thorough understanding of criminal law requires time, energy, and attention devoted to the study of jurisprudence. The Revised Penal Code is a very, very old law. What was criminally reprehensible then may still be morally reprehensible now, and we must look into jurisprudence to bridge that gap. May mga bahagi ang batas na technical, kapatid. When that happens, focus on the cases. Between a case decided in the 50s and a case decided in the 90s, pay more attention to the most recent pronouncements of the Supreme Court. Finally, we have the awkward topic of penalties. During my time in law school, technical ang discussion ng penalties. Sabi ng aming professor, the computation of the penalties is for the judges and the justices. Hindi mo yan magagamit sa bar exam. On the other hand, if your professor is a judge or justice, expect a thorough discussion and recitation on penalties. This is where they shine, so we must let them shine. However difficult that may prove to us. Between passing criminal law 1 and criminal law 2 and taking criminal law review, halos 10 taon din ang nagdaan. Ang mga alam ko noon, sobrang kalawangin na, pero nahabol ko naman. Pagdating sa penalties at complex crimes, doon na ako nalito at walang maalala. My recommendation, kapatid, is to find any discussion of Judge Campanilla on penalties. Sa kanya ko talaga naiintindihan, hindi man sa kanyang libro, hindi man sa kanyang discussion sa klase, kundi sa mga gabing bet namin siyang ilibre ng samgyupsal, pero sagot naman niya ang aming pilsen. That's it for criminal law, kapatid. I hope you learned something that will help you onward and forward in your law school journey. One more thing before we end, the LEX in Motion team is putting together an outreach activity for those who have been ravaged by Typhoon Ulysses. Oo, kapatid, sakto pa lang kaming nakakakilos para sa Typhoon Rolly ay meron na namang mga nangangailangan ng ating tulong, dasal at suporta. Hindi ko man kayo mabigyan ng mga libro o caudal dito sa channel, ay sa charity work naman napupunta ang portion ng ating ad revenue. If you would like to help bring relief to victims of Typhoons Rolly and Ulysses, please send me a DM either on the LEX in Motion Facebook page or over at Instagram. If you would like to see more videos on how to build your capability in law school, please let me know by typing yes in the comments down below. Thank you so much for watching. Like and share this video for good law school karma, and I will see you next Friday.